had an interesting conversation around Paul Finebaum making some comments about the Colorado Buffaloes football team. And what stemmed from that, I guess, is some conversations that happened last week at the Big 12 Media Day.
Mm-hmm.
Then Shedeur came right behind that and said something, too, during that media day. So first, we're going to play some of what Deion had to say. Then we're going to play some of what Shedeur had to say. Then we're going to play a little bit of what Paul had to say. Then we're going to chime in right quick. How about that?
Sounds good.
Let's rock with what Deion had to say last week.
Do you feel an obligation with whom you are to perform at a higher level or coach at a higher level?
Yeah, yes. I'm judged on a different scale. My wins are totally different than your wins. Your wins, you just judge in football. That's why I have to start out and give you education and academics and so forth. I have to give you those things so you understand there's a greater scope. I can't win 9 games and our GPA suffers. Our GPA can't be high, but we lose another 8 games. We can't not go and grab high school players and you got a bunch of guys in the portal, out of the portal that's getting incarcerated. My wins are different. We have to win in every area. That's
So yeah, I think we played that last week too. I think we heard that last week. So he's basically saying what, Pam?
Yeah, that he's judged on a different level, right? Which I agree. But the interesting thing is that in this conversation that Paul was in, there was a lady analyst, and she asked the panel what he meant. She said, I don't understand what he means. And now that just took me by surprise that she wouldn't understand where he's coming from by saying he's judged differently.
So you don't
think
his
standards are, he's got to be high in every single area, whereas somebody else could win 8 games and maybe their players are average academically. That's not going to be highlighted as much as it is
and we're
on
talking
his
about
side.
Coach Prime, who's the head coach of Colorado Buffaloes. You don't think every coach is judged that way?
I don't think it's equal.
You don't. so you
not
don't,
in this case with Deion.
No, I'm asking. I'm being honest.
I don't really think
question.
it's equal.
Okay.
Is it not just Deion? Is it equal across the board? When we look at athletics and coaches and black coaches versus white coaches, different programs.
Black coaches are judged differently. I think they're judged differently. I think they're judged based on whether they win or lose. I think all coaches are judged based on whether they win or lose and their kids graduate.
Exactly.
They have the APR, which can't remember what it stands for. It has something to do with graduation and academics. Okay. And I think they all just. Well, anyway, yeah.
So, and what's highlighted in the media, different things like that, and what's not.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think that's where he's talking about.
So, also in the Big 12, Shedeur has said something about him. Well, pretty much the Colorado Buffaloes. So let's hear the soundbite.
Do you have an obligation to perform at a different level?
It's been that since day one. I remember first media day when I was in HBCU, I said we won't lose a game. I'm undefeated in the SWAC, so I already know what the expectation comes with. I know we're everybody's Super Bowl, so I'm really just I always stay level-headed, stay grounded because I would never want to be that guy, look back, and not being able to take advantage of the moment that we have right now.
Okay, that's right there. Leave it right there. Okay.
Everybody's Super Bowl.
I want to remind Shedeur, first of all, they was undefeated in the SWAC. Yeah, that's true. But when they played the MEAC down in Atlanta, that changed a lot. Shout out to the North Carolina Central Eagles and Trey Oliver and that crew. All right, so we heard what Deion had to say. He's been judged differently. Shedeur said he's been judged differently, and pretty much. I mean, so this is kind of common thing they got going on there, right?
Yeah, and watching Colorado is everybody's Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that's
was
the
part.
His big comment.
Everybody's Super Bowl, which people ain't nobody worried about. I don't think the lion's share of Big 12 guys are worried about Colorado, but that's a good thing to say. Having said all that, here's Paul Finebaum again about some of the comments that Deion made, and probably a couple of that were his son made as well. Let's take a listen.
I think college football now, especially with the 12-team playoff, is about can you get in or not. It's not about how much social media traction you get, whether your son is a great player. And I want to get this out of the way. I have great respect for Coach Prime and his son, but I also thought his son's comments the other day about everyone, we're everyone's Super Bowl was really ludicrous. I cover the SEC primarily, but the big picture in college football. And after a couple weeks of the season, Colorado will cease to exist, just like last year. Yeah, they owned the sport for 4 or 5 weeks until they got exposed.
Wow.
So Deion responded.
Okay.
And just
what did Deion say?
On X. And so he was responding to this what Paul had said.
Okay.
And he just said, "God is good, my brother. They mad. I sense a bit of anger and hostility. Lots of love. God bless."
So you saying Paul Finebaum is mad because of the success? Or just hating, pretty much, is what he's saying?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
RG3 commented on it, too, but I don't know if we have enough time for that. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
What give me a little bit. Can you give me, just give me a little bit. We don't have to listen to the whole thing.
College football. To address some of that ether that Paul Finebaum just directed at Deion Sanders. Colorado is everybody's Super Bowl. The reason that they are the Super Bowl is because all eyes are on them. Mm-hmm. I still remember Dan Lanning telling his locker room that Colorado was there for clicks and they're there for wins, right? They knew that they went out there with a vengeance and they did blow them out, but they played harder in that game than they played in any other game of the season. So if Shedeur in his mind is saying, hey, Colorado is everyone's Super Bowl because they think they're so great, I can kind of see where Paul is going, but he's saying in this.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier. As I was saying, he meant all eyes on them.
You think so?
Yes. Like we watched the Super Bowl.
So did you see how many celebrities were at their games last year?
And Paul went on to say the piece that we're missing, he named Stephen A. He named different people that came to the games last year. And what he was saying, will they come this year? Probably not.
So it's all about the popularity and the I guess the star factor associated with the Colorado Buffaloes with Prime and Shedeur have nothing to do with. I want to show up because these guys have a really good football team.
Right. He went on to say that Deion is the best salesperson he's ever seen.
Okay.
It's like Bronny James. Everyone shows up to see him.
Great point. Coach Prime, Shedeur, Colorado Buffaloes, Bronny James. all kind of mixed up into one. That's interesting. But do you agree? Are they college football Super Bowl?
I think all eyes were definitely on them. Will it be the same this year as far as all eyes? Probably not. They went, 4-8 or something like that.
Did people show up last year for these games, though? I know the year before, but was it like star-studded? People showed up last year? I think so.
Yes,
right,
absolutely.
Yeah. I know Stephen A.
From
people like that.
On the field to in the stands.
Yeah. So maybe they were everybody's Super Bowl. But let me ask you a question: If they continue if they go 4-8 this year, you think the shine still be there in terms of?
It's still more games than Colorado won in years.
So this is not about winning. It's about the atmosphere. It's about I don't know how Crunk.
He still got to give him time to build the program.
Really.
Which is hard to do when you got 40 plus coming out and 50 going in, and
Well, he lost
vice
50 last
versa,
year.
yeah.
I don't know yet. I don't know. I might have to push back on this a little bit.
How you feel? Tell us how you feel about it. Do you agree with Paul? Is it irrelevant now?
I think in some respect, I do agree with him in terms of in terms of wins. Because at some point, you still got to win. I mean, what we're going to see the band play. I mean, we're going to see who's going to show up on the sidelines. What stars going to be hanging out. Everything's cool. The after party is going to be great. But on the field, at some point, you got to win football games.
Absolutely.
And I think Coach has the talent and hopefully the recruits to make that happen.
Right, because you got Shedeur could be one of the top picks.
Yeah.
In the NFL, you still got Hunter there.
Yeah, Travis.
All eyes on them.
All eyes on them, really. I'm not sure all eyes on them. That's the part of that. All eyes were on them.
Right.
Yeah, because it was new. They was when they beat TCU, the crowd, everybody went crazy. But then the cement started. When you pour cement, it got to settle in. And once it settled in, because concrete, it's a different conversation.
Absolutely.
And
and now you see the cracks because it also starts to crack a little bit.
That's what I'm talking about. So maybe it's just me. People gonna come out to me, but no, I'm all about Coach Prime. You know that. But in terms of the conversation we're having, everybody's Super Bowl, and you're saying that everybody's Super Bowl because it's a must-see kind of thing.
That's what I believe Shedeur meant.
Wait a minute. The entertainment factor is not the extra what's going to happen between the lines, right? But the entertainment factor of the Colorado football program in general.
I think that's what he meant. All eyes on them, and he's had eyes on him from before he even got there.
Yeah. We're going to chop this up some more because this is an interesting conversation to have.
And like Bronny, he's Deion's son. More eyes on him.
Bronny's a sideshow. Now, Colorado's not a sideshow. I mean, they got guys that it's entertaining to go. The pomp and circumstances are there. But at the end of the day, they got some guys that's going to play on Sunday. They for real. They can play. Bronny's just a sideshow. Anyway, I don't care. Come at me on big.
Oh, they coming for you now, for real. On both ends.
Broad shoulders, baby. Show up, baby. I'm right here.
For the last 8 minutes.
Why? Because I don't agree with the establishment. That's why I'm going against the grain.
Yeah. Oh, and one more question.
Yes,
I don't know if you commented on that. Do you think that Deion is judged differently?
You know what? I think initially he was. I think people find they're gonna try to poke holes in what he's doing because of the entertainment factor, because of the attention he brings to the program. So maybe, I think so.
Okay.
I think he's judged differently, but